In today's Urbandoned video, we are lurking in a northern city in England where amazing secrets have been kept in relation to British industry. Within an unassuming property, we come across a classic abandoned textiles factory that was left with everything inside for more than a decade, machinery, documents and furniture, preserving it as a fascinating retro time capsule of a conventional 1990s mill. Join us as we discover that urban explorers weren't the first to enter the premises, as we check every inch of the complex for lost remains.
Alistair,
What?
have you heard that 85% of people are not subscribed?
You're joking? They need to hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell to never miss a video. It is a frosty winter morning, and whilst trying to stay as warm as possible, we are approaching the derelict mill with a good idea of the entry point we needed to use. Despite light barely filling the sky, the building's city centre position means that its surrounding streets are already populated, so we bide our time, waiting for the perfect moment to begin our infiltration. Thankfully, we made it inside unsighted. Now, we had to patiently wait for more light to find its way into the complex before we could start exploring. There isn't much online history available for the site, but we know that the building dates as far back as the 1850s, when it was more than likely purpose-built as a mill. It was last used by a textiles trader up until around a decade ago, so the many rooms used to manufacture products over the years had probably been defunct for a lot longer. Since the structure went out of use and the initial boarding up took place, nothing else had been done to prevent its further dilapidation.
This is a lovely staircase. There's amazing ironwork and the carpet's in really good condition.
All feels pretty sturdy up to now.
Completely changes here though. You can see my breath in the torchlight. This is a real nice mill feel. It's completely stacked with items. A lot of them look very old as well. Huge scale there. It looks like two machines over here. So it turns out the scale actually moves. So if I put some weight on it, you can see the mechanics working inside.
Wow.
It's really nice. I've never seen this make a scale. You can tell it's
No,
very
it's-
old.
It's usually Avery, isn't it?
Yeah, they probably have similar workings, but you just can't see behind the glass usually.
This looks to be the firm's reception. It's very vintage. I feel like these pipes on the ground indicate a grow. Maybe I'm wrong. All the wiring coming down has been stripped. Oh, I'm not wrong. Look at this. It's clearly from a long time ago. But I can't really remember the last time I came across one of these. It's a shame really, I wonder what was moved to put all this here.
More signs of the growing here. Looks to be quite an extensive project they had going. It's a shame because I bet some of these offices would have been really nice before they stripped them out. As you can see, it's completely full in some of the rooms. This office seems to have a massive safe. It looks a bit more dated in the items that are in here. Even the safe is stocked. It appears that would be original as well, instead of somebody putting the items in there.
Although we had only scratched the surface of the factory, we were already finding rooms piled with furniture and equipment that suggested that the company's demise had been abrupt, maybe even overnight, like untouched mills we have seen before.
I imagine a stamp collector would like to have a route through this drawer and all of these left on the floor. Some of them I really don't recognise. I wonder if any are rare. I really couldn't tell.
57.
Oh yeah, like 1957. It's a Sudan stamp by the looks of things. Go on, give it a tap for the viewers. It's normally mechanical.
My hands are so cold that it's hard to type. It's definitely mechanical.
It's nice. Sounds nice.
In the back rooms of the offices. This one looks like it was used for storage of some of the fabrics. This looks quite cool, these two rusty machines. Is it a hole punch? There's evidence of that, but I feel like it looks a bit too complex. Just being a hole punch machine. It's cool though. They both are. The one at the back's got a nice wheel. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of stuff in here. All seems quite rummaged through. There's so many documents. All looks like it's from like the early 2000s. There's a crazy amount of stuff left. Just having a quick scan through. We've got expenditures, bank statements, letters from executives, all just left here in a heap. This is definitely an overnight closure. I feel like this level of stuff doesn't just get left at a factory when it's mothballed for good.
There's a bunch of clothes here hung up. They were probably produced in this very factory. It's quite an obstacle course getting over all the clothes and clutter on the floor. Looks like it's quite an ornate spiral staircase. It's a bit of an odd place to have it. It leads down into what looks to be a boardroom. Almost has a bit of a feel of a pub, which is a bit strange. More odd monitors, keyboards and phones as well.
This boardroom seemed trapped in time, still containing its large table where multiple companies would make important decisions for their businesses for over a century and a half of activity.
Straight back into the factory. This looks like a room just before the products would be exported. I feel like it's been a building of many businesses. Because there's glass bottles there, and then upstairs it's talking about textiles. There's another scale, same make as the one upstairs. Look at this. This stuff looks all packaged up and ready to be shipped.
Gone now.
With the final textiles firm accommodating the mill being a trader, there were rooms that once would have been lined with machinery, more recently stocked with packaged materials and samples ready for exporting. The visible decay emphasised that maintenance fees for the old structure's upkeep were plausible for another reason it shut down.
This is a really dingy staircase.
Look at the chipped paint.
I know. It's almost decayed in a bad way, it just doesn't look appealing at all. This is either the basement or the bottom floor, I don't really know. I've kind of lost my bearings a bit.
I think we're underground now.
Oh yeah, we are, I can tell by the windows. This just looks to be like box storage.
Blimey.
God, it's got a real fruity smell in here, hasn't it?
That's all storage there. It's like the ones at the Tetrasil factory.
Massive collapse too. Just going to continue further into the basement. And oh my word. Look at the state of these. There's at least, oh there's more. There's 4 at least. Massive weaving machinery. It smells oily and mechanical. These must have been decaying here for quite some time.
We had entered an incredible space, jam-packed with the rusting, mothballed types of machinery that you'd expect to see in a museum nowadays. The 4 towering looms would be used to weave cloth, their size and layout ruled out in modern times, with the process simplified extensively, which you can imagine, as well as their weight, is why they were left to fall to bits. For us, it was extraordinary to see a classic abandoned mill today. It is rare that a treasure trove like this is kept intact for more than a decade, and the likelihood is that to see something like this you'd have to visit shortly after closure. It truly was a lost gem.
Let me get a closer look at this machine. There's more paperwork attached to the clipboard that's on each machine. You can see even some of the fabric still on a spindle there. It's all stretched out across the bottom here. It looks like this would have been the final product for this step of the process anyway.
This is definitely the best room we've come across of this whole place. All the strings are still there. Connecting to the rolls of material on this rack.
Yarn was still wrapped around these spindles, connected to a neighbouring machine that was also outdated. Looking at the labels hung on the looms, it appeared that the equipment could have sat here disused for 20 years.
Company name is in plates on almost every door. All the way to the top of the stairs, the banisters continued all this way. We've done this building in a very makeshift way. just because of all the locked doors. This looks like some more offices with the tinted glass. Oh yeah. Lovely woodwork. And again, it's all been sorted through. Anything valuable's probably been stolen. It's nice though, very retro. Trendy yarn. Summer 2001. It's interesting. These different types, they're barely different, but apparently these ones are super cool.
This would have been an office space, but it's been dominated by more of the grow. This bit looks like it was the brains of the operation. There's ventilation points in the tent, stuff all over the floor. Even the cabling's left in from the lighting that would have been fitted. Definitely wasn't some small scale business that were operating out of here. Plants, or pots, I keep saying plants like they're still in here, but there's pots everywhere. And then it just transitions into more decaying paperwork from the original use of the building. This office appeared to house a load of samples that would have gone to all sorts of different companies. And what we've seen already, a lot of major companies like Hugo Boss, Armani, and many others. And they've just been sat here, gone to waste, but completely unsalvageable anymore.
It was remarkable to see room after room crammed with unused materials and clothing, all tagged as if it was planned to be sent out imminently. We wondered what the real time frame was for the wind down for the mill, and the reasons behind its sudden nature. More storage of materials. I feel like these top two floors are just going to be typical mill floors, where there's just loads of cardboard boxes and not much. I like the light blue colour scheme on the walls there. Yeah, there's hardly anything in here. Just a bunch of these boxes. These floors were probably once used for production, but now just for storage, or at least until the place closed. Saw this in passing. Really old signage on the door saying it was once a laboratory. Now it is nothing of the sort. I mean, the benches are still here, and possibly a fume cupboard in the back corner, but again just converted into a storage space for whatever they could. Yeah, that is definitely a fume cupboard.
crazy. I've never seen one that looks that old. There's the top floor. Look at the decay up here. All the paint is coming off and there's so much pigeon feces. It stinks. I'm glad it's a cold day and this hasn't been basking in the heat. But yeah, just pretty standard as we come to the end of this exploration. The bottom floors have really made it though, especially that basement room with all the machines. This could just be any other mill really.
But the mill we had seen was not that sort. Finishing up our exploration, we had been thrown back in time to an era a couple decades ago, when these properties were still as important as they always had been, ever since the Industrial Revolution. Obviously, maintaining our history is vital, which is why we think documenting a site like this is so important, as sadly, they aren't being built rapidly anymore like in the 1800s, and the mentioned era is concluding slowly. The north of England is abundant with textile factories like this, but not many as interesting as this one. Even on the very street the property is located, there are 6 former mills, half have been converted into apartments. Eventually, this one will join them, and its timeless state will only be a distant memory. Here are some of our photographs captured at the Abandoned factory. If you like the look of them, check out our Instagram page in the description, where we share images from our explores months before they are seen on YouTube. Thanks for watching. This was one of our favourite explorations of last year, so we hope we did it justice. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like on it and be ready for some special announcements soon. See you next time.